Sup guys, Juggalo here, and welcome to PC News You Can Use. I know this is like really kind of informal and everything right now. Just basically, I'm trying to relax. I really don't want to set up everything because that takes a lot of time, and I hope you guys understand. Granted, I am still doing a computer build, the Star Wars AT-AT, so I am doing that, trying to figure out the platform and everything, and here it is, right here. If you guys don't believe me, I'm painting a lot of stuff, so I have a lot of stuff out in the living room. Keep in mind, I live in an apartment, so I am in a confined space, and what I can do and everything like that as far as modding, doing PC News You Can Use, and all that kind of stuff. But I think this PC News You Can Use will be kind of short just because last week there weren't too many articles that are out there, in my opinion. And as well, with the Memorial Day weekend approaching, a lot of people basically wanted to take a break from making news articles and everything like that. So I hope you guys can understand. I don't have the 73-inch TV right behind me and everything like that. So I'm really sorry about this, but I just want to try to get this done as effectively as I can and upload it so you guys can see it. And then in turn I can start painting again on my parts and everything I still have to do, like still have to take apart this leg and then I have to paint it, but before I paint it I have to make holes in it and all that stuff. So I got a lot of stuff to do and not enough time, and I have to be at work by 3 o'clock. But anyways, enough of me babbling about my life and everything. We have ASUS launches the first Intel Thunderbolt certified motherboard. It's going to be on the P8 Z77 TAC V Premium, and then it will be on the motherboard, the P8 Z77 V Pro. And I'm trying to see like what speeds it can be read and all that stuff, but it's definitely something to look into and everything with the speeds it will offer for Thunderbolt. And I think Thunderbolt, for the most part, will be the standard on all motherboards upcoming in technology, meaning more motherboards that are going to be coming out later this year will have the standard Thunderbolt certification for their motherboards and everything. Alright, next up we have Team launches Vulcan series overclocking memory. Pretty much they're marketing this so you can overclock that memory on X79, and it supports up to 8 modules, for example, and it's a total of 64 gigs, I believe, and it's for games or multi-programming and all that stuff. And also they offer a 1.5 volt for their RAM, so you don't need to do raise it up sky high and everything like that. So I'm just trying to see the prices and or specs of these RAM. I'll just do one of them. For example, we have Team Dark DDR3 1866. It's a desktop, of course. RAM density 512 times 8, capacity 8 gigs times 2, 8 gigs times 4, and latencies are pretty high. They're going to be like in the 10, 10, 30 range to have this overclocking memory and everything, and be pretty high as far as the CAS, I think. So that's one article down. Next up we have eSPORTS, or Thermal Take, debuts the black element Cyclone, and basically this mouse is advertising that it has a fan on it, and it's the first fan on a mouse. I really don't see the need to have a fan on a mouse, but we'll see how the market takes it, and see if fellow gamers would like to have a mouse plug or a fan plugged into their mouse. I really don't understand why you would want that, but hey, people take into that market, power to them, I guess. And then we have next up the Nexus intros the Thrio 310 case, and this is definitely a interesting case because it's a standard black, and then it has a white 120mm in the back, but then for like your hard drives and your DVD drives and stuff, it actually has yellow holders. I would say an orangish yellowish tinge to the brackets themselves. So we'll see how that goes. This is mainly for like the budget gamer. It's going to be a price of 45.70 euros, so probably around 50 bucks. It supports ATX and micro ATX motherboard, has one USB 3.0 and three USB 2.0 ports, and has 3 exposed 5.25 inch bays and 8 internal 3.5 inch bays, and it's all tool-free mounting systems, and it has a rubber feet as well. Next up, we have Arctic. If you guys don't know who Arctic is, it's Arctic Cooling. They make aftermarket fans and or heat sinks for a lot of things, especially GPUs is mainly their specialty, and they're releasing the Xtreme 3, and it'll be the best cooling solution if you want air. It has up to 300 watts of dissipation, and it has a comprehensive set of 31 RAM and VR heat sinks to cool all the components surrounding the GPU. So they're not just going to sell you a heatsink, they're also going to include components to cool your RAM and everything, which is awesome. So you don't have to go and buy and wait for another week for that product to get in. You'll get everything all in one package, which is really nice. Alright, next up we have the Koolance releases the GTX 690 water block. The cost is going to be $144.99, which is about $6 cheaper than the blocks I got. Mine were roughly $150 for the 590s, and generally they're really good at cooling and everything. I have no complaints with Koolance whatsoever as far as their GPU water cooling blocks. Next up, the new NVIDIA drivers are out. The 30.42 WHQL driver. It will improve basically the 6 series, 7 series, 8 series. It's supposed to basically do all the series all the way down to, let me see the lowest, the 100 series. So it's saying if you have a 570 or 580, you'll get some improvements. 560 Ti, you'll get some improvements as well. More SLI profiles have been added and everything like that. And I see a game that supports SLI now. Portal 2, Left 4 Dead, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. What else we got? Max Payne 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2. So basically it says adds or updates the following SLI profiles. So they're updating the profiles of some of these games right here. Alright, next up we have Deep Silence 1 with the Nanoxia, the next generation of PC cases. Let me take a look at here, and it's definitely an interesting design. To me, it's pretty plain, a standard case. Almost looked like a Antec case, but they're trying to stealth everything where you can't see the drive bays and everything in the front. And they swing open, it looks like, little doors, and it looks like they have a filter within that door maybe, or sound dampening material. And it also has the drive bays where it is basically a mesh, so you have ventilation as well in that PC. It looks like it comes with 220mm fans, green or 92 it looks like. And I'm looking around. It has some cable management, and it has a hole for your CPU if you want to put an aftermarket cooler, so you can replace that with ease. Has water cooling holes in the back. It actually looks like you might be able to put maybe a 360 rad if you yank out these two hard drive cages that are right next to each other. So you might be able to put a 240 rad at the bottom and a 360 rad at the top I'm not sure if you're going to do any modifications. I haven't seen any real reviews of it or what it looks like taken apart and everything like that. Alright, next up we have VIA Initiates APC, the $49 Droid PC. Now this is pretty awesome. So basically they made a little motherboard that has Android on it, and it supports it, of course, and it has a VGA output, and that's pretty much it, and a HDMI. It has 4 USB, probably 2.0s, and it has a mic and audio jack, and then it has a Ethernet jack, and then a little power cable as well. And this board's pretty small. I'm going to go ahead and read some of the key features of this, and it can be housed in any standard mini ITX or micro ATX chassis. Some of the key features, of course, optimized Android OS, HD TV support, hardware acceleration of the most demanding video formats, VGA and HDMI display ports, which I said. Already said about the USB, 1 micro SD slot, 1 10/100 Ethernet port. Already said about the audio in and mic in. We also have a VIA Wonder Media ARM11 SoC, 2 gigs of NAND flash, 512 of DDR3 RAM, and it only comes with a 15-watt power adapter. So basically this is a real low-cost PC. So only 15 watts, that's really low. So if you're just want to do internet browsing, you can get this and not spend like $500 on a new PC or whatever pre-built. Next up we have MechWarrior Online Early Access Program detailed. So if anybody is interested in trying to figure out how to get access, check this article out. It's definitely interesting, and it looks like they're selling certain packages. They have one for $30, they have one for $40, or they have one for $60, or they have one for $80. And basically if you pre-order, this is what I'm assuming, if you pre-order it and everything like that, you can register for beta access and reserve your pilot name at the official site. So go ahead and check that out. Next up we have PowerColor Vortex 3. This article is completely in a language I don't understand, and I should have done it in Google Translate. But basically this is a really interesting design. It looks like a metal housing instead of plastic. It has 3 probably 92 millimeter fans. It has a huge heat sink. It can probably compare to the direct CU2 of ASUS, basically in the style of cooler. So it's pretty big, and it's definitely meant for the overclocker right here. And all I see at the bottom that's in English is the Radeon HD 7990 GHz edition. That's the only thing I really can understand. I'm sorry guys. Moving along. Production of the AMD Piledriver FX processors Q3 will begin in 2012. So Q3 2012, look out for them to start doing production, and then probably a couple months after that they're going to release these new CPUs and everything. Next up we have EA/DICE, and basically what they're saying is if you want to play their titles in 2013, it's going to require 64-bit Windows. So Windows 32-bit has been around forever, and I think they should make Windows 64-bit as a standard, just because you can use more RAM if you want, you can upgrade certain things, you know, which you can't if you have just a standard 32-bit OS. So I think they should Canex 32-bit, because it costs the same amount OEM for the key. Either you want 32 or 64-bit, it's basically the same price. So if they start implementing more computers with 64-bit, that might be able to give the developers and everything to do more stuff with their games. Also give other developers that are just developing software for the computer to have more access to do some more things and everything if people do have more RAM and everything, for example. This is just my opinion on that. Alright, next up we have the Samsung monitor that came out, and unfortunately the whole website is in Japanese. So it is talking about the S2 7B970 27-inch QHD monitor, and unfortunately again this isn't all Japanese, so probably talking about how clear it is and all that stuff. So if you like a nice monitor by Samsung, check this out. Next up we have Diablo 3 declared the fastest selling PC game ever. Now here's my thing, it's probably going to be the fastest game that people will not play probably after a week, or depending on how long they want to play it, because you are required to be online to play the single player. So a lot of people may not want to play this game continuously because they just have to log in every time just to play for not multiplayer but first player. So I really hope they do something where you don't have to go online every time, because it does get annoying. It says like people will get, or for example, not people, but I got, oh, you know, you can't connect to the server right now, the servers are down for maintenance and all that stuff. Well, if you didn't have that login required, we wouldn't have that problem as gamers, and we would not be complaining. A lot of people have been complaining about the DRM and everything like that. Alright, next up we have BitFenix unleashes the Prodigy case, and more or less if you look at this case, it looks like an Apple case, and probably Apple's going to sue them saying, hey, it looks like one of our products. And I'm not kidding you, it looks like an old Apple case that my friend had way back in the 2000s, and it looks exactly like that in a sense. It is ventilated pretty much all around the case except for one side. You have two USB 3.0s that are in the front, but it's really on the side. The power button's on the side, the audio jack, your microphone jack is on the side as well. And in the inside, it's really small, so this is probably for micro ATX or ITX chassis right here if you are interested in making a real small computer and everything like that. But again, it does look like an Apple kind of style case that I have seen in the past. And it only has two PCI brackets, so keep in mind. So basically one graphics card, and that's it you're gonna have in this card. Alright, next up we have AMD AIB partners said to be working on a 7970X2, and basically they're probably going to take two 7970 chips. They might be lower clocked or the same clock as the standard 7970, but they're not going to use a lower end CPU, or not CPU but GPUs, and call it the, you know, 7970. So they're taking two 7970 chips, and putting them on a PCB. Even though AMD is supposedly going to be coming out with the 7990, so we'll see how that goes. And more or less, they're working on the 7970 times 2 because right now NVIDIA technically has the fastest dual GPU card out there, supposedly, and everything. And now we're just waiting for AMD. Well, the partners are probably getting fed up and like, well, why aren't you coming out with the dual card yet? So now they're saying, well, we're going to go ahead and take it upon ourselves, AMD, and come out with a 7970 times 2. Alright, next up, AMD is backing out of the CPU speed wars against Intel. And basically it's this whole article saying why we don't need speed anymore, and he said most processors now are fast enough to do with keep up with most applications. We really don't need to make our CPUs faster and everything like that. Basically they're gonna give Intel a huge market by saying this, because you have a lot of enthusiasts and they're about speed, overclocking, what can you do, you know, kind of stuff, how far can I push this. So him saying that, they might lose a share of the AMD market, because you have a lot of people who are enthusiasts and may own a AMD processor right now, and right next up they're going to go straight to Intel, so they're going to lose money by saying this and everything like that. So we'll see how this plays out for them and everything. Alright, next up we have another Apple patent, and they are applying for a optical stylus patent, and basically hell reports the coldest day on record. This is posted on Engadget, and basically Apple contradicts themselves, and I'll read a little quote I have right here. And everybody, this is what someone quoted that I saw. I said, how do you close applications when multitasking? And they're talking about the touchscreen, I believe. You don't have to. The user just uses things and doesn't ever have to worry about it. And then you have Steve Jobs. It's like we said on the iPad, if you see a stylus, they blew it. In multitasking, if you see a task manager, they blew it. Users shouldn't have to ever think about it. Well, guess what? Apple, you're using a stylus, so basically you're going against what Steve Jobs said. Congratulations on that. And that is the end of PC News You Can Use number 21. And thank you guys for your support. Thank you for understanding why this video is in my bedroom instead of in my living room with everything set up. So as always, comment, subscribe, rate this video, click that like button. You guys have a great day. Bye.